the work experience of 15 years and has rich experience in coaching corporate personals in computing skills to meet the growing need of database decisions. He is a seasoned trainer, well well acknowledged for the following signature programs like Train the Trainer, course on the usage of Excel and Beginner's Guide to Canva, capacity building workshop, and many more. The aim of this workshop is to provide hands on training in data analysis and to cover the fundamentals of statistical tools using Excel. Sir will be covering in this session the functions and the formulas used in Excel. So I welcome Sir. Sir, over to
Thank
you.
you so much, Asim sir.
Welcome, sir.
So, very good afternoon to all my dear participants. Please allow me to share my screen now. So, I hope my screen is visible. Can I get some responses in the chat box? Right,
Yes, sir.
thank you so much. So, dear participants, before starting the session, I'll be sharing one data set with you people, right? I request all the participants to kindly download the data set so that we can have a hands-on session. Kindly download this file, dataset 4. Kindly download the same to your computers and open the file so that we can start with the session.
Puneet, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you please send the data set to everyone? Actually, it has been sent to host and panelist.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
Thank you.
Asim sir, I'm only getting the option to send it to host or panelist.
Okay, sir. Let me just confirm. Sir, it has been done from our side.
Right. Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome, sir.
So I request all the participants to kindly download the data set so that we can proceed with the session. Wait for 2 minutes. Let other people also get the data set download, and then we'll start with the session. Better, the data set is available in the chat box only. Kindly refer the previous charts. The data set has been sent at 2:33 p.m. Kindly refer to the time set and download the data. Mayuri, the data is available in the chat box only. We have already again sent this data set into the chat box for your reference. So kindly get it downloaded into your systems. Anand, simply click on the Excel data set shared in the chat box. You will be able to get it download. Asim sir, I request to kindly share the data set again twice or thrice in the chat box only.
Okay, sir.
Because some of the people are joining just right now.
Done, sir.
Right, thank you. So welcome to the last leg of value-added course on Excel Essentials for the real world. So today we'll be going to cover unlocking dynamic formulas and functions. So proceeding on to the session. So what is basically a formula? It is an expression that returns a specific result. For example, 1 plus 2 is 3, or 2 plus 2 is 4. Or we can have another example, 6 divided by 3 is 2, right? So in this screenshots which you are previewing, you can see that we have entered a formula. It is only an expression which in returns gives some result. For example, in this you can see 1 plus 2 is 3. The output for this is in the cell A1, 1 plus 2 is 3, and over here it's 6 divided by 3 is 2. So you can note it down that all the formulas in Excel must begin with an equal to sign. Okay. So coming to the cell references, in the example already discussed, we can see that the values in that examples were hard-coded. Hard-coded means that were fixed and bind. It means that the results won't change if you edit the formula again, and we have to manually change the values again and again in case we want to update something in this formula only, right? So generally this is considered as a bad form because it hides the information and it makes harder to maintain a spreadsheet. So what we can do that we can enter a expression, we can enter a formula, or we can enter a function against that. So we can also use a cell reference which can be changed at any point of time. Suppose in the next slide, if you can see, we have values in A1 cell, A2 cell, and A3 cell. Are you able to see it? We have the values in A1 cell, A2 cell, and A3 cell. Okay. So in this cell C1, we have entered a formula. We have entered a formula using cell references. Suppose in the C1 cell, we have started with is equal to sign, which is followed by an expression A1 plus A2 plus A3. Right over here, we have used cell references so that in future, if we want to update or change the values mentioned in A1, 2, or 3 cell, right? So automatically the results will be updated because we are using the cell references. So these values can be changed at any point of time, and your output in the columns in the cell C1 will automatically show accurate results. So how we can copy and paste the formula? So the beauty of cell reference is that they are automatically updated when a formula is copied to a new location. Suppose in this example only, a formula is typed in C1 cell, right? Again, if I want to copy this formula to C2 cell only, just below this, I'll just copy Control C and Control V in column C2. Okay, so this is the beauty that it can be copied to a new location, right? So in this example, you can see we have three sets of data in this. In this first data set, the colors are depicted in column A. Three colors are there, red, blue, and green, and some values are placed against these cells. Against the red, there are three values. Against blue, there are three values. And again, against the color green, there are three values. Now, in the cell E1, you can see in the cell E1, there is a expression written in this, a formula written in this. in which B1 plus C1 and D1 is added. So what is B1, C1 and D1? The values pertaining to color red, that is 12 plus 10 plus 12, which comes out to be 34, right? Now, the same formula has been pasted to cell E2 in this second screenshot. If you can see, the formula was copied from E1 cell and was pasted to E2 cell. So you can see that the results for blue color has been updated into this cell. But if we discuss the hard-coded values, suppose we'll take 12 plus 10 plus 12, then it comes to be 34 only. But if we again copy this cell to E2 cell, then again the value for 34 will be picked instead of 27. So this is the benefit of using cell references. Why we use cell references? So that we can get updated results and the same formula can be copy and pasted towards another cells. Just like the same, in the third screenshot, you can see that again the same formula which was typed in E1 cell is copied to E3 cell. Now you can see the results. You can see the results. It's been updated as 34, 27, and 30. Okay. Can we create one of the data set over here? Okay, I'll request all of you to please open the data set. So before working on these data sets, I request to all the participants to create a new sheet using this plus button. Okay. We'll have another data set. We'll create a data set. We'll have red. We'll have green. Just create a data set, small data set along with me, and orange. Right? We'll also create 3 colors. We'll enter some random values. I'll put 5, 9, 12. Okay. Against green, I'll put 12, 11, 4. Against orange, I'll put 30, 23, 54. Okay. So I'm expecting that you people are also doing the same with me. You can enter any of the values, any random values over here. So are you people with me? Thank you, thank you. So you can see we have 3 colors over here and some values are there against each color, right? So firstly, I'll put the formula with the hard-coded values only. I'll start with equal to, if I want a sum of red color, I'll put a hard-coded value first. It was 5 plus 9 plus 12. Is it like so? And press enter, you'll get a value of 26. Again, in the case of green, it's 12 plus 11 plus 4. You'll get 27. In case of orange, it's 30 plus 23 plus 54. It's 107. Okay. So over here in this column, I'll just color it out. In this column, you can see in my formula bar, the hard-coded values have been typed. It's 5 plus 9 plus 12, it's 12 plus 11 plus 4, and it's 30 plus 23 plus 54, right? Now, in this column, I'll mark with another color. Now I'll be using cell references in this H column. Okay, so you can see the result will be same. But what will be the benefit of using the cell references? I'll let you know afterwards. Okay. So over here, I'll use the cell reference is equal to, I'll put B1 plus C1 plus D1. Press enter. You can see or you can observe the values, the output is same in this case, but in the yellow column, that is F column, we have used hard-coded values, but in this we have used cell references. And what is the beauty of this? I'll just copy it and paste it below my other cells. So you can see there is no difference between the output. But what is the benefit of using the cell references? Suppose I want to change the value of green from 11 to 23. Okay. Over here in this cell C2, you can notice it over here. It's 12 now. Oh, it's 11 now. I'm just changing this value to 23. Okay. So as and when I press enter, so you can see the output has been varied accordingly. So in this case, where we have put hard-coded values, the value have not been changed, but where we have used the cell references, the value have been automatically updated. So this is the benefit of using a cell reference, right? Because if we are using a hard-coded values, then again I have to put or I have to update this value 11 in this cell also along with other cells. So it might be possible that there are chances of some error or while updating some entry is skipped. So the results may not be appropriate in this case. So this is the benefit of using cell references. Is it fine? Shall we move further? So moving further, what is a relative and absolute reference? So the cell references in the previous slide are called relative references. In this, the references which we are using are known as relative references. It means that it is relative to the cell which it lives in. Suppose in the formula E1, the formula in E1 is B1 plus C1 plus D1, right? So it literally means that cell 3 column left plus cell 2 column left plus cell 1 column left. That's why the formula is copied down to the E2 cell and which have been relatively changed accordingly, right? That's why it's known as a relative reference. So relative references are extremely useful, but there are times when you don't want a cell reference to be changed. In some cases, you want that cell references should be absolute. It won't be able to change. Okay. So how we can use that? To make a reference absolute from a relative, we can use a dollar symbol. Suppose A1 cell is a relative reference and a dollar sign before and after alphabet A is an absolute reference. So in this example, if you can see, okay, we'll take our example, that will be more clear. I'll take another data set. We have student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4 and student 5. Okay, we have 5 students in our class. I'll draw one table. So over here, I have marks in subject 1 and marks in subject 2. So over here, I'll just put a formula is equal to random between, it's rand between, what is the bottom value? I want minimum 10 marks and maximum 50 marks for each student. Okay, I'll just copy this formula and paste it all over. So I've got a random values for the marks, right? So as and when I change this marks, it will get automatically updated. So what is to be done over here? Just simply copy and right click on this, click on paste special and paste this formula as a value, so that over here you are having a formula, right? And we want that this formula to be replaced with values, so we can paste special as values in this. You press OK, so you can see that formula has been removed and the values has been pasted accordingly. Okay, so I have a subset over here. Now, the management or the school authorities want that each and every student should be given additional 10 marks in every subject or in totality after what they have achieved or graded. Okay, so we have 10 marks which has to be allocated to each and every student. So what we can do, we'll calculate the summation of this. We can use this cell plus this cell first, right? I'll just copy and paste this formula. So over here we have used the relative references. In this formula, in this sheet or in this column, we have used relative references. Now we want to add this 10 marks against each and every student, right? So how we can do that? We can also press plus and add this cell, because we want this cell to be added against each and every cell in this column. Okay, so we want this cell to be an absolute reference. Why? Because these 10 marks have to be added against each and every student. So what we can do in this case, we'll put a dollar sign against this E alphabet. Okay, press OK. You can see, just copy and paste the formula. So you can see that the references have been updated in this cell. And what if we can't use this absolute reference? I'll show you that also. अगर हम इसको नहीं यूज करते with a dollar sign, इसको absolute reference नहीं बनाते, so what was the result? I'll just tell you. This cell plus this cell plus this cell. Okay, press enter. First figure is okay. What about the rest of the figures? They haven't included 10 to these figures. If you can see, 65 and 75, 59, 69, there is a difference of 10 in each and every cell. Why? Because if I can check my formula, it has been calculating these two cells along with the corresponding cell of 10 marks. Why? Because we have copied the formula from this cell F8 to F9, right? So that's why it hasn't picked the absolute reference cell. It has picked the next cell belonging to this cell. So that's why it's important to use a cell references where we want a constant value to be added against each and every cell. Is it fine? So similarly, in this case, you can see that the values have been multiplied over here, right? You can see the value against the Monday has been multiplied with A1 cell. So the A1 cell is common for all. A1 cell is common for all. So it has to be multiplied with value of Monday. It has to be multiplied with value of Tuesday and Wednesday, right? So the cell A1 has been made an absolute while using a dollar sign in between these. So how we can enter a formula? There is a simple process. You have to select a cell where you want to enter a formula, enter an equal sign and type the formula and press enter. So you'll be able to get your results. So we have talked about the formula and now we'll be talking about a function. So what is a function? As you'll hear the words formula and function that are frequently used and are interchangeably. So they are closely related but not exactly the same. So technically a formula is any expression that begins with an equal sign. Okay. Suppose a function on another hand is a formula with a special name and a purpose. For example, in this, you'll be able to see that sum is a function and addition is a formula. Okay, we can add using a formula, or we can use a sum function which is already embedded in this Microsoft Excel tool. So over here, you can see we are using a cell references, or we are using sum of 1, 2, and 3, which gives a return value of 6. And if we are using a cell references, that we are selecting a range between 1 to 3, A1 to A3, which will also give a return to the cells for A1, A2, and A3. So what is the basic function for sum? In which the total amount resulting from addition of two or more numbers, amount, or items. So what is the syntax to add the sum? It's equal to sum. Either we can put a comma sign in between this cells, or we can put a plus sign in between, or we can enter a range to this. Okay, so we'll move again back to our data set. Just move to sheet sum. Over here we are having a data set of 10 students with the marks scored in mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. Okay, we have a data set of 10 students with their marks in mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. So we'll use all the three syntax is equal to sum. Just start with a bracket. We'll select a number, this, comma, second marks in physics, then with chemistry, then with biology. Okay. So we have entered or selected these four cells, B2, C2, D2, and E2 using a comma. Close this bracket and press enter. You'll get 194. Second way is this, equal to sum. We can put plus sign in between the cells. Bracket close, press enter, same results, same output. We can also enter the range where the number of cells are more in names is equal to sum. Simply select this range from B2 to E2. This is another way to add it. Press enter, same results. So you can see the same function has been entered in three ways. We have entered this function in three ways. Where the cells are less in number, we can use this or this easily. But in case the cells where the addition or where the function has to be applied more in case, so we can select the range in this case. Is it clear? We can simply copy and paste it against each and every column. So you can see in either of the three ways, the result is same. Now moving further, SUMIF. SUMIF is used to sum the values in a range that meet the criteria you have specified. For example, suppose we have a data set in which a salary column is there and we want to sum only those values which are more than 4385. We want to sum the salary of those people who are getting the salary more than 4385. So what is the syntax to this? Is equal to sum if, because if is used for a condition, right? Sum if, and then we have selected a range from K2 to K981 where the condition is that salary should be greater than 4385. So let's move back to our data set. Go to this percentage sheet. Go to this percentage sheet. Okay. So you'll be able to see the salary column. We have a salary column in this. Okay. So I just want to enter a function over here is equal to sum if. So just type is equal to sum if bracket start. Sum if bracket start. I have to specify a range first. The range is, I'll select the entire data. Right? I selected the entire data, put a comma in between, and what is the criteria? So the criteria has to be put in between the double quotes, that it should be greater than 2000. Okay, so I have put a criteria that you have to sum the salary of the people, those who are getting the salary of more than 2000 rupees. Okay, press enter. So you'll be able to see that the total salary of the people who are getting more than 2000 is 2573152. Asim sir, I request to please share the data set once again. Thank you so much. Yes, is it fine? Sum F. Any doubt till sum F? We have covered sum, we have covered absolute and relative references. We have covered sum F. Any doubt in this? Yes, I need the response of the people. Kindly write in the chat box. Any doubt till this point of time? Okay, thank you so much. So we move further. Now, next function is calculating the average. How we can calculate the average? Basically, average is a central or a typical value in a set of data, which is known as an average. So, what is the syntax to do this? You can enter the formula is equal to average and select the range for which you want to calculate the average of this. Again, coming to my data set in the sum sheet. Okay. I want to calculate the average. I'm going to delete this. Right. So over here, I just want to calculate the average marks scored by students in mathematics subject. Okay. So I'll type average. I'll select the range or marks of mathematics. Okay. Bracket close, press enter. So 36.9 is my average marks in mathematics subject. Similarly, I can calculate the same for physics, chemistry and biology. I'll just copy the formula because I'm using the relative reference over here. In this, you can see we are using the relative references. So I've just copied the formula, and these are the average marks in mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. Got it? I can also calculate the average marks scored by each student, right? So how we can do that? Suppose I want to calculate the average marks scored by student number 7. Simply type average and select the range, bracket close. So 39.5 is this average marks scored by student number 7 out of all the subjects. Is it fine? So moving further, coming to the percentage, it is a rate or a number or amount in each 100. So percentage you might be very well aware of that how is calculated. It is equal to points obtained divided by total points into 100. So coming again back to my data set, to the percentage column. Okay, so we have two columns in this, G and H. G and H. So you can see how we can calculate the percentage of each staff, right? So my total is 50, and these are the points obtained. So what is the formula? Is equal to points obtained divided by total points multiplied by 100. So this is the formula we are exactly using. Total points obtained divided by total number of points out of into 100. Press enter. So you will be able to see the percentage. Simply copy and paste, or simply double click on this triangle over here. So you will be able to copy the formula against each and every cell. So you can see the percentage is calculated against each and every cell. Done with this? Next is count. The count function enables us to count the number of cells that contains the numbers and counts the number within the list of arguments. So it calculates the count and a number within the arguments. So what is the function to do this? Is equal to count, and we have to select the range. Suppose I'll go again back to my sum sheet, right? So over here, I'll just type this is equal to count, bracket start. I'll select the range over here, bracket close, and press enter. So we can see that the 4 values were entered against this. Because this is a small data set, so we are able to calculate it manually also. But if it is to be calculated in this percentage sheet, we have to calculate the same into the percentage sheet, so we can simply type is equal to count. I'll select range over here. I've selected the entire column, press enter. So you can see the results are 0. Why it is so? Anyone? Why the result is 0? Why it hasn't counted? Anyone? In the column D, the data is there, but why it hasn't counted? Yes, Sumi is right, because there is no numerical value in this, right? So I have to change my data, the range of data. So where is my numerical value? It's in column A. And press enter. So we can see we have 980 records in this. Is it fine? Or we can also calculate this. We can also select count and can select the entire range, bracket close. So there are total of 40 entries in this range of table. Okay. Now the next is count if. So it is a statistical function to count the number of cells that meet a criteria. So for example, if we want to calculate the number of times a particular designation appears in a data set, so what is the syntax to this? It's count if is equal to count if, then bracket start, select a range, and what is the criteria, what we want to search in this data set. Suppose in this data set we are searching for a carpenter. Okay, we'll again go back to our data set, go to the percentage sheet, So over here I'll put count if bracket start, a range to this. I've selected D column. Okay, and in this suppose I want to look how many drivers are there in this data. Okay, so what is my criteria? It's driver. I have to put my criteria in between the double quotes and close the bracket and press enter. So we can see that there are total 28 number of drivers in this. In this data set, we have total 28 number of drivers. Okay. Now, I want to see some gunmen. How many gunmen are there? So against driver, I'll change my criteria to gun. So you have to be very particular in this, that why you have to be particular, because if it's written like this, gunman with a space in between, then you'll be able to get the results. If I'll remove the space, so what will be the result? It comes to 0, that he is unable to find any of the gunman because the gunman is written with a space. Okay, so you get a count as 3. So you have to be very particular. In case you can also do like this also. So you can copy this criteria, in case some spellings are difficult to type or remember. So you can copy this criteria and you can replace the same with like this. Okay, press enter. You will be able to see that count of AC helpers are 10 in number. So is it fine? Next function is to concatenate. Basically, this function is used to join 2 or more text strings into one string. Suppose we want to join A1 and B1 cell, or A1 or A2 cell, right? So what is the function to do that? We can use a concatenate option to do. We'll move back to our data set, right? Over here, I'm simply deleting this old functions. Okay, in this data set, I want that a name along with the designation should be concatenated in a single cell. So I want this name along with the designation in single cell. So what is my function to do this? is equal to concatenate. It's concatenate. We should start with a bracket. Now the text one means what is the first thing you want to put it. Suppose I want to put this name first, separated by comma, then text 2, C2 comma D2. Okay, bracket close, press enter. So what is the result? Are you able to see this? That the two, you will be able to see it clearly, that the data of two cells have been merged into a particular cell using a concatenate command. So we have joined the data of two cells in a particular cell. Okay, but there is some formatting issue in this. I don't want a name to be joined with a designation immediately, but I want some demarcation in between the name and the designation in a particular cell. So what we can do this, in this formula bar, it's the same. Select the name first, then what we have to add in between. Suppose I want to add some criteria that I need a special type of character in between the name and the designation. So how we can do this? I'll just simply put a double quotation, and over there I'm putting these double dots in between the name and designation, then a comma, then I need to select a second cell. Please notice the syntax. Earlier we have done C2 comma D2. Now we have put this sign or this condition in between these two cells. Okay, I'll press enter, so you'll be able to see the results. Okay, so I want that some space should also be there after a name and before the designation. So I'll put a space along with this special character. Okay, press enter. So you'll be able to see a space after a name, then a special character, then a designation. So you can copy and paste the formula in another sheets also. So you'll be able to see the name along with the designations put across to this. So you can concatenate any number of cells in this. Suppose in addition to this, I want that what is the staff type of this. So I'll again put this special characters, right, comma, and a staff type, right. Press enter, so you'll be able to see the three cells have been merged in a single cell. Is it easy? So in case you have to done it manually, how much time is needed for this? And if it is with the help of this function concatenate, how much time is required to do this activity? Yes, was it easy? Fine. Moving further. What are the basic functions? Basic functions, we are already doing the same. We have covered sum f, count f. We have covered averages, percentages, and now we are going to cover f function. So f function is used when we want to sort our data according to some given logic. So the best part of the if function is that we have embedded formulas and we can function in it. right? Suppose in an example, if we want C2 is less than P3, right? Then it should write as a true, else false. So in this given example, we have a data of countries with their populations, right? We have a data of countries with their populations, okay? Okay, let's move back to our data set in if sheet, okay? So firstly, we have some countries over here along with the population data of the countries. Now we want to calculate the average population. How we can do that? It's average, select the range, bracket closed, okay? So the way I've calculated the average is correct or incorrect? Please let me know. Some feedback. I need some feedback on this. That I've calculated the average population amongst all the countries, and I've copied the formula in all the other cells against each country, and the values are different in this. So whether this formula or whether this function which I've copied pasted is correct or incorrect? Any feedback or any suggestion? Yes, anyone? Okay, please let me know. Okay, so me saying no, why it is so like? The averages should be same or should be different? Yes, it's Amandeep is saying it's keeping the populations above it. That's correct. So over here, I have to keep this cells as an absolute cells. Okay, so you can see the average over here is B2. I'm selecting the range from B2 to B21. From this B2 to B21. But if you observe this in another cell, it's B3 to B22. Over here, you can see a blue table, right? So in the next cell, you'll be able to see that the population of Bangladesh has been skipped. Over here, you'll be able to see Bangladesh, Brazil has been skipped, okay? So what to do in this case? So you make the cells absolute in this case. Put a dollar sign in this. Press enter. Now you can copy and paste the formula entire. So you can see that the average population has been correctly calculated now. Okay. So we were on the if command. So what was the function? What was the function to do this? So we can see if in this case, I want just to compare the average population with the population of a particular country. So in this, the syntax is if B2 is greater than C2, then write true or false. Okay. So we'll also type the same syntax is equal to if bracket start if the average population, right, is B2, then write true, else false. Okay, close the bracket. If B2 is greater than C2, then write true, else false. Then press enter. Over here, you'll be able to see the results. Is it fine? functions or the formulas are very easy to remember. So you just have to remember the name, that what you have to apply for it, right? So the Excel will already be able to tell you that what is the next step, what you want to do next. Okay. So this is something technically, some function is there that if the sum of a range is greater than the sum of this range, then publish the results as sum of C1 to C10, else publish the results from sum 1 of D1 to D10. So it's a if logic in which C1 to C10 is one of the data set and D1 to D10 is another data set. So the data sets or the summation of these both ranges are being compared, right? If it is greater, then type the summation of this, otherwise type summation of D1 to D10. So you can also create your own formulas as per your requirements. Okay, now you have a task to do. So you have to perform the following activity as per the data set provided. So you have to calculate the number of electricians employed using count F, calculate the average salary of the employees. You have to calculate the percentage of points obtained for each employee and create a new column named particulars and concatenate name and designation. Okay. So you have to do this and your time starts now. You have to complete this activity within 5 minutes. So we'll have 5 minutes to complete this activity. So the data set is same. Kindly perform this activity on the data set provided. In case of any issue, do write in the chat box. No, it's not necessary to write true in the capital and false in small. It was just in the typing. You can also type the same into the small also, or in the caps also. Yes, time up. So are you able to do this activity? All the tasks? Or you need some more time? Yes, any feedback? Are you able to complete this activity within time? I'm just observing, no response. That means you people are still busy in completing the activity. Okay, okay, take your time, no issues. Do write in the chat box after completing this activity. For the people who have completed the same. Yes, completed with this or still doing? I need your feedback. Yes, Sumi, are you able to complete this? Rahul? No feedback? Okay, I'll repeat the count if. What about other activities? Are you able to calculate the same? Are you able to calculate the average, percentage? I'll repeat count if again. Okay, moving back to my data set. Right, in this percentage column, in this percentage sheet, I'm using a sum if, count if. So what is my syntax? Is equal to count if. Right, over here, you can observe that when I was typing count if, Excel is directing me what to do next. Right, I've typed count if, I've put a bracket. Now he's asking for a range. So the range is my D column. Okay, I've selected the entire column. Then I'll put a comma with a condition now that I want how many electricians are there in this column. I'll put my criteria into the double quotes and I'll close the bracket. Okay, press enter. Okay, it's electrician only, not S is not there. press enter. So you can see total of 76 electricians are there. Is it fine to me? It's a simple syntax is equal to count if. Then we need to select the range. So what was my range? That I need to select the electricians, number of electricians from the designation column. So D was my column range, and okay, you forgot to put, because wherever there is a criteria, so you have to put the same into a double quotes. So you can take the help of this Excel also. Suppose I'm typing count if, right? So over here you can see that now what I have to put against my next step. So I have to select a range now. Range is D. Now criteria is there, so criteria should always be against double quotes, right? Security bracket close. So no one with the security is there. Security guard must be there. Yes, security guard was there. Okay. So moving further. Now the next function is to trim. So what is the purpose to use the trim command? We have already discussed the same into the session 1 on the day 1. It is used to remove all the empty spaces which are unlike other functions that operate on a range of cells. So what is the syntax to do this? Is equal to trim, and you have to select the text which you want to trim. So where we can use this. Okay, I'll take a small example in a new sheet. I'll take a small example. Suppose I had a database with me, right? So there is a space and name there. There is a name and space here. I'll write a surname along with this. Space. Right? So you can observe the spaces in between at the initial as well as the last point, in between, and again there. So what is my function of the trim? It's equal to trim. It will remove or eliminate the extra spaces. Now what is the text? So this is the text which I want to trim, and I'll close my bracket, press enter. So you'll be able to see the extra spaces have been removed from the cells. Okay. Coming to the next, maximum and minimum. The max and the min function helps in finding out the maximum number and the minimum number in the range of values. What is the syntax to do this? It's simply is equal to max in case we want to find out the maximum number, and it's equal to minimum min between the range of values, so that we'll be able to find the same maximum and the minimum. So I'll go back to my data set, go to the percentage sheet. Over here we have a salary column. We have a salary column. Over here I'll be able to find out what is the maximum salary in this and what is the minimum salary in this. So what is my syntax? It's max bracket start. Then I'll put a range to this. Okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, it's like this also. So I'll suppose take this much range F2 to F14, close my bracket. Over here you will be able to see that F2 to F14, 4663 is the maximum number. F14, this one. From this data set, 4663 is the maximum number, right? Similarly, if I want to calculate the minimum number, I'll type min. Again, I'll select this range to 14, right? Bracket closed, press enter. So we'll be able to see that 1151 was the minimum number amongst this range of table. Is it fine? We can find out the maximum as well as the minimum number over here. In the same data set, you can also find out the maximum population and the minimum population according to the countries. Moving to my data set again. Over here, if I just want to calculate the maximum, suppose maximum population of the country is equal to max, then we need to select a range, bracket close, press enter. So the population of China is maximum, it's the same figure, right? And what about the minimum? It's min, select the range, bracket close, press enter. It's the Thailand which is having the minimum population, right? So in this way we can calculate the maximum and minimum value out of a range of a table. Yes, any doubt as of now? Yes, before I should start a lookup function. Any doubts in the functions which we have already covered? Yes, you can, Amandeep, you can type BB instead of B1 to B21 because BB is the selection of the entire column. Okay, so it hardly makes any difference. You can also select the entire column, but in case you want a specific range of table, so you can select B1 to B21, right? Suppose in this data set only, I'll take the example of this data set only. So we have almost 20 countries with us, right? So if I want to calculate the maximum or minimum of first 10 countries, so in that case, we'll be able to select this entire range of table, else we can also select the entire column. Okay, Aman? Sumi, trim will only remove the extra spaces in between the values as well as the numbers also. It's not only for the text, but basically in some cases the alphanumeric could be written in some of the text or some of the cell, so it will be able to trim that function also. Okay. So shall we go with the VLOOKUP function? This is the last part of this session. Coming to the VLOOKUP function. Any idea why we are using a VLOOKUP function, or what is the purpose of using a VLOOKUP? Why it is known as a vertical, why it is known as a VLOOKUP? Any idea? It's in front of you only. That a VLOOKUP is a tool that is used to look up for a piece of information in a table or a data set and extracting some corresponding data or information. So it is basically called a VLOOKUP because it vertically looks up for data. It vertically looks up for a data down to a specific column and finds the value and stops and looks for a value on the same row in a column that you have specified. Suppose in a data set, we have to look up for a piece of information. Suppose we have an example like bananas in a data set and in a table. So we can use a VLOOKUP function to get some corresponding information, just like the price of banana or the quantity which we have sold for the bananas, right? It will be more clear with the help of example. So what is the VLOOKUP formula and what is the function or what is the syntax to do this? It is equal to VLOOKUP. You need not to remember this formula. You need not to remember this formula. You just simply need to type is equal to VLOOKUP bracket start lookup value where you want to look up for the same and a table array from which table you want to get the data, then a column index number out of a table, which column you need to be extracted or which column you are extracting the data from, and the range of a lookup, right? So the lookup value is a required argument. This is only a theoretically. You need not to remember this. We'll just simply move back to our data sets. Okay. Over here we have two sheets. One is VLOOKUP, another is sheet 1. Okay. So VLOOKUP formula has to be applied in between two sheets, or we can do the same in a particular sheet also. So if you can look up in this VLOOKUP sheet, we have UIDs, we have staff type, we have name, we have designation, we have date of joining, rank, discipline, division school, department, email ID, and salary of the employees. Okay. So in this data set, we have these 11 fields with us, right? But in another sheet, I have only UIDs, a name and a designation, okay? But what is the common in between these two sheets? What is the common in between these two sheets? Commonly available between a VLOOKUP sheet and a sheet 1. What is the common factor? It's UID, Ayush. Thank you. UID is a common factor in between two, right? And these are the unique values. UIDs are unique in both the cases, right? And in this sheet, we want to extract the data. Data means that against this UID, I need the name and designation of the person who is there in this VLOOKUP sheet. Okay, I need the name of the person and designation against the UID in this sheet. So this is the basic function of using a VLOOKUP. So we'll simply type a syntax. You just see on my screen first, and then practice it at your screen. Okay. You need to type is equal to VLOOKUP. Okay. So what is the lookup value? So this value 5000, this UID is my lookup value because I have to look this value into a VLOOKUP sheet. Okay. So this is my lookup value A2, comma. So what is my table array? So you can see the options are automatically being bold after I put up some values. So now the system is asking for a table array. What is the table from where I need to have the values? So my table belongs to sheet VLOOKUP. In this sheet, there is my table. So we have a UID, we need name and designation. So I'll select the entire 4 columns because I need data of name and designation, right? So lookup value was my UID over there, and this is my table array. This is my table. From this table, I just need the data. From the rest of the data, I don't need any of this information. Okay. So this is my table array. Then again, I'll put comma. What is my column index number? So what was my requirement over there? I need the name of the person against the UID. So my column index number is 3 in this case. Why it is 3? Because UID is in column 1, staff type in 2, and name in column 3. So I'll put 3 in this, right? Then again, comma. Do I want an approximate match or an exact match? You can write a true or a false, or you can put a 0 or a 1 against this. 0 means exact match. So I'll put a 0 against this and close my bracket. Okay. So this is only a simple formula from where we can use a VLOOKUP function. I'll press enter to this. So you can see the name against 50,000 ID has been picked up from the sheet VLOOKUP and has been entered in this cell. I'll repeat it again. I'll apply the same formula. I delete this. So this is my function is equal to VLOOKUP. Okay. So what is my lookup value? So you people have to tell me now. What is my lookup value? It's A2, that is UID. Yes, I need to select this UID, comma. Where is my table array? In which sheet? In which sheet is my table array? It's in VLOOKUP. Go to this sheet, right? So you need to select the columns because we have to select a table array. We have just moved to the sheet. Now after moving to the sheet, you have to select the table array. So you can see a dotted line. Okay. So now the table array has been selected. Again put a comma. What is a column index number? So column index means the criteria which I had to pick it from this sheet. So it's 3 in this case. I have to pick the name of the person against the UID. So 3 is my column index number, and I need an exact match, which I'm going to denote it with 0. Okay, comma 3, comma 0. Press enter. So you'll be able to see the name have been put against the column 50,000. So simply copy and paste this formula or just drag and drop these. So you will be able to see that the names against each and every ID has been populated in this cell. Okay, why 3 and 0 we have put it? Because 3 was our column index number. Column index number means that in the table array, इस table के अंदर हम क्या find out कर रहे थे? Okay, what we were looking up for in this table. So we were looking up for name. So name belongs to column number 3. That's why we have put 3, and 0 means I need a exact match against this. Else I can also put a false in this. It's our option whether to put a true or a false. So either 0 or a 1, because 0 is denoted by an exact match and 1 is by the approximate match. That's why we have put a false or a 0, that we need an exact information against these IDs. That's why we have put 0 or a false against this. Okay, in similar way we can also get the designation. Yes, Aman is very right. Aman, there is some error. I think A2 should be there. It's A:2 is written in this syntax. Only A2 should be there. Is equal to VLOOKUP A2 and rest is okay. Okay, no issues. So again, I'll put the same formula in the VLOOKUP. I'll select the ID, comma, table array. It's in the VLOOKUP sheet. Then I'll go to till designation. Okay. Then column index number in this case is 4 because designation is in column number 4. And then I'll put 0 because I want exact information. Bracket close, press enter. So you'll be able to see the designations mentioned have been populated in this cell. Okay, so these both sheets have now been linked up using this function VLOOKUP. Suppose Mr. Narendra Sharma is written against 50,000 ID, right? You can see Mr. Narendra Sharma written with the designation as a carpenter. So in case in this VLOOKUP sheet from which the data have been picked, okay, over here it's also Narendra Sharma, right? So in case I have made some changes in this sheet, in case of Narendra Sharma, I'll type Narendra Singh. Okay. In case of Narendra Sharma, I'll type Narendra Singh and press enter. So you'll be able to see that the same has been incorporated in this VLOOKUP sheet also. So any changes you'll made into this master sheet will automatically be changed into this VLOOKUP sheet also. Whatever change you made in the master sheet, it will automatically be updated in this lookup sheet. Okay, got it? The recording is already available. You can see this recording in this LPU Online your YouTube page. Okay, the session is already live and recorded over there. So you can also watch this lecture on LPU Online YouTube page. Yes. Now, one task for you people, just in the column D, just fetch the division or a school pertaining to these UIDs. Please fetch the details of a division of the schools in the column D. So you have 2 minutes with us. So I hope you people have fetched the name and designations. If not, as of now, kindly complete the same because It's already there in our task sheet. It's the last task, and we have to perform the following activity as per the data set provided. So we have to use VLOOKUP function in the sheet 1, and you have to get the name, designation, and school division column from the VLOOKUP sheet. Okay, so your time starts now. You have 5 minutes to do this activity. And after this, we'll be taking up your queries. Yes, you have 3 minutes more to complete this activity. Yes, how many of you have completed this? Please give your consent in the chat box. Almost a minute to complete this. Yes, we have completed this. It's 322101161. So you've got the results. In all those 3 columns, you have fetched the name, designation, as well as school and division from the data sets. Yes, Ayush, you are correct. It's 8 comma 0. Sumi, which UID is not there in the sheet? Ayush, I think it's some comma or space is there in between this VLOOKUP, comma, and A is to H range. Some space is there in between. Kindly check it once. Yes, Sumi, which ID you are talking about? Okay, Sumi, you have some issue. Are you able to share your screen? Sumi, if we could promote you as a panelist in this, so are you able to share your screen? Okay. Sim sir, could you please promote Sumi as a panelist?
Yes, sir.
Stop share. Sumi, SUMI. Yes, Sumi, could you please raise your hand?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I'm just sharing this thing. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible now. You go to the name column first. You do one thing, just delete the entire data and apply the lookup function again.
This one, right?
Yes, remove the data. Delete all. Yes, select the lookup value. Okay. Put a comma. Go to VLOOKUP sheet. Okay. No. You're doing some mistake over here. Remain to that particular sheet, right? So you have enter the table array, then put comma over here. You need not to move to the sheet again. Put comma over here. Then you need to select the column. Suppose 3 is your name. Okay, comma 0. Bracket close. Press enter. Now apply this formula to all. Is it fine?
Yeah.
Yes, this was the mistake because when you move back to the another sheet while applying this formula, so there might be chances that you have been selecting some of the cells or there will be some space in between which is creating some problem in this. Okay?
Okay, sir. Got it.
Yes. Soman, I hope your query has been solved also. Yes, any doubt in this VLOOKUP sheet? Is it fine? So I hope now you'll be able to fetch the data within fraction of seconds only using a VLOOKUP formula, because this is serving as a lifeline to me in LPU only. Frankly speaking and sharing my experience, that earlier I was used to match the IDs first by using a sorting commands, and after that I'll just copy and paste the data into another sheet and then I'll map the data. So it takes generally this process which I have applied within a fraction of seconds, or we can say it took us a minute or two to complete this activity. So earlier this was taking my entire whole day, right? So this is a lifeline to me in LPU, and I hope it will also serve as a lifeline to you in your current profiles in which you are posted. So it will come only with the practice. Practice and practice will make you perfect in this. Okay. So now coming to the shortcuts, I'll be sharing one of the files. Yes, this is the file. Okay. So it contains over 200 shortcuts. I'll be sharing with you people. Right. This is a very helpful file. You can get the shortcuts learned from this file also. It contains both the Windows as well as Mac shortcuts. Right. These are the table of contents. You can move directly to the table. Suppose I just want to go to the pivot table. It's on table 17. I'll click on this. It will take me to the page number 17. And these are the shortcuts to it. Right? These are for the Windows and these are for the Macs. So you can easily learn the shortcuts from this file. Number formatting options, entering data, how to enter and move right, how to enter and move left, enter and stay in the same cell, enter the same data in multiple cells, how we can do that, insert a current date, how we can do that, right? We want to cancel some entry, how we can do that, move one word right. So what is the shortcut to this? It's control right hand side key. Right, more than 200 shortcuts are there. You can learn the shortcuts from here. It's a very helpful file. In addition to this, you can see these are the video tips available. Suppose how to use VLOOKUP instead of nested and if statements. So in case you feel lonely and you are unable to find the solution, you can also Google the same, or this file can also serve as a help file to your problems, right? So you can refer to this website. This is an XLJIT file, right? So you can refer to this website. Suppose how to quickly create a pivot table. Suppose I'll go to this link. Because the processes and the steps are very easily explained in this website. So you can refer to this website anytime, right? How to quickly create a pivot table. You can refer the help videos also. This is all what we have already covered, right? And this is the transcript. You can easily go through this, or you can also get some training videos or some help from these training or functions or formulas or shortcuts or articles, whatever the way we want, right? So I'll be sharing this file along with you people. Just give me a minute. I'll share in the chat box. The link is just type XLJIT on the Google. Asim sir, I've shared one of the shortcut files, the PDF files, in the chat box. You are requested to kindly share this with all the participants. In the meantime, Asim sir shares this Excel file with you people. So any queries as of now, till what part we have covered from day 1 to till day 3? Any queries? Because I've done with my content, right? And still, in case you want to have any doubt or any query related to this, You can directly type the same into the chat box. Yes, Himanshu sir. Which link you are talking about? You already shared the Excel. I've shared the Excel shortcut files from where you can get the link of this Excel sheet. Kindly get the file downloaded from the chat box only. Yes, any doubts? Rashmi ma'am, you can get the video recording on the distance online education YouTube page. Yes, any doubts as of now?
Students, if you are having any doubt, any query, you can raise the hand. We can unmute you so that you can have your query, or you can write it in the chat box also. Rohit sir, please provide the attendance link also to the students.
I hope you people have got all of my data sets with you. So keep practicing the same on the data sets, or you can also get the data sets downloaded from the any of the websites, right, or any of the web sources, because some open data sets are also available for the analysis purpose. So you kindly get the data sets downloaded and you can try to implement these functions and commands, or you can use some pivot tables to get the data analyzed and create some meaningful tables or pictorial graphs.
Puneet sir, I think you had already answered all the queries what the students were having.
Sure, sir, sure. So I think that is all from my side. So I'll hand it over to Baba sir now.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. And one thing is very much clear, as I earlier said, that a good teacher is one in whose class the questions are minimum. So the here also the questions are minimum, as Puneet sir has answered most of the queries. Sir, one more question has come from Sumi. That is
Yes.
it possible to show pivot table?
Yes, it's possible. So we just give me a moment. I'll share my screen again. Okay. Right. So Sumi, I'll be using the same data set. Okay. So this I'm having some of the data. Okay, right. So if you could see, Sumi, we have 11 columns in this data set. In salary, we have 11 columns. Okay. So first of all, before applying a pivot table, we need to study our data, that what we want to extract from this data. What is the purpose of using a pivot table with this set of data set, right? So I'm looking to this data. It is showing a data of some organization in which some employee details have been shared, right? Which is showing their UID, their staff type, name, designation, date of joining, wing, discipline, division, department, email ID and salary, right? So what I want to extract out of this. So I'll create a pivot table first. Go to this table where you want to apply a pivot table. Then go to insert command, right? Create a table first. It will automatically create a dotted line against the entire data set. Okay, as you can see, a dotted line is there in the entire data set. It is asking that whether your table has a header. Yes, it is having headers. Press OK. So the data has been now converted to a table format first, right? So now I want to apply a pivot table in this. Click on insert option, go to pivot table, right? So you have to select a table 1 because this has been named, this entire data set has been named as a table 1. Press OK, right? So you'll be able to see 4 quadrants in this. Now what I want from this data set. Okay, first of all, I want a designation wise report of the people that the count of designations which are available in this data set. So I'll simply take my designations to the row column. Okay, so you'll be able to see that the unique designations have been marked over here. Unique designations have been marked. Okay, so now I want the count of these all designations that are available in the data set. So I'll again take this designation, I'll drag this designation into the values column again. Firstly, I've drag and drop this designation into the row column and then into the values. Now you can see that the count against each designation is being reflected. That we have 10 AC helpers, we have 4 AC technicians, 10 assistant security supervisors, 22 carpenters, and so on. Okay. Sometimes when you create this pivot table, value of that over here you will be able to see in this quadrant, in the value quadrant, there is a count of designation coming, right? In some cases, it will automatically sum this, okay? It will come like summation of this because these designations are unique in numbers, so it will not come like this. But if while calculating some sum, so you need to go to this drop down, go to value field settings, click on count. Okay, so the custom name count of designation will be shown. Press OK, you will be able to get the count of designations. Okay, now if I want a division or a school wise report of designations along with this data, I need additional column or additional information regarding the schools and divisions. So I'll simply take this and drag to the rows column. So over here, you will be able to see that academic staff college is having only a single peon. Administrative office is having a peon as well as sweeper, right? With this count 1 and 12. Then Department of Electrical Work is having total 38 staff members with this bifurcation. Okay. So over here, you'll be able to see that the designations are coming. Over here, the designations are coming just below this divisions in the same column. Okay. But I want that in column A, division should be there. In column B, designation should be there. And in column C, the count of designation should be there. So how we can do that? Simply right click on any of the cell, right? Go to pivot table options. Over here, there is an option display. Click on display and we have a classic pivot table layout is available. Simply click on this and press OK. So you will be able to see that the school or division is specified in column A and designation in column B. And again, in this, some confusion is there while reading the data that academic staff college and its total is again coming. If I don't want the totals, right click on the total and untick this subtotal or division or school. So you'll be able to see only the names of the division and the designations which are falling against these along with the count of people. Okay. Suppose in the construction, you can see these designations are there with this much count. Okay. Yes, Sumi, is it clear now? Right, thank you. So you can also see that some of the recommended pivot tables are also available while creating. You can also select the same from the recommended pivot tables. Yes, any other doubt?
Any other question? Any other doubt, students? No doubt is there? So I think now we should start the proceedings for closing this 3-day workshop, sir. With your consent,
Sure.
Puneet sir.
Sure, sir, sure.
Yeah. Thank you. And in a ceremony of vote of thanks, I would like to start. First of all, I would like to thank our resource person, Puneet Soni sir. Despite of his very, I would say, hectic schedule, sir has given us time for this workshop. Sir, we are really thankful from the core of our heart that even today, just in, I would say, students, he has not taken even his lunch, I would say. Before joining this meeting, he was in a meeting with the Vice Chancellor ma'am, and he was just rushing to come to take this session. It's hats off to you, Puneet sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Anybody would have said it, sir. I will not be able to take, but you take the onus and completed it. It's so nice of you. So
Thank you
thanks
so
a
much,
lot
sir.
to Puneet sir for sparing his valuable time, and it's a lot of efforts has taken for this workshop. And then I would like to thank our seniors, Guinea ma'am, our senior director, Center for Distance and Online Education, Manish sir, our additional director, Kulvinder sir, as well as my colleagues. And in the end, to all my dear students who has joined this 3-day workshop. And I hope this had been a very good learning. And we people are waiting for your responses in the feedback form also. So thank you, students. Thanks a lot for sparing a lot of time of yours for this very much educating session. Thank you. Thank you, Puneet sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Asim sir. Thank you, students. With this now, we end this session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.